Hi everyone, welcome back to Falcon's House. This week is Westworld Recap Series, Season 2, Episode 5, Akane no Mai. We are now halfway through the season, and after we had an episode without Dolores and Maeve, we now have an episode dedicated to them. Here's the obligatory spoiler warning going forward. The episode opens with one of the few scenes that doesn't have Dolores or Maeve. Delos has retaken the Mesa, and they are deconstructing Host while Bernard watches, so I'm assuming this is 2 weeks in the future. The woman who is leading the Delos employees says that they are halfway down dredging the flooded valley for bodies, and have also drained half the water from the valley. They are still looking for Abernathy, so he must have escaped again from Hale. Bernard is walking around the lab, and one of the Delos techs says that there is something strange going on when a third of the hosts have been completely wiped. Not just like missing memories, but like as if they had never been programmed at all. So I wonder if these hosts were the ones that were rebelling for Ford's narrative and he put in some sort of kill switch that would just wipe them, or if these were hosts that had become awake and so they had wiped themselves. So they said there was nothing that they could do to recover, so they have lost a third of their IP. And they also mentioned something called the Cradle, which is not a place they had mentioned before, and it looked like a place where they had done storage of information or something. I wonder if it's the place that Bernard was taken by Hale, because we've had a flashback of Bernard shooting a gun somewhere, so I wonder if he went down there by himself and killed everybody in order to protect the other hosts. Maybe he still has some Ford programming left in him. Among the recovered bodies is Teddy. Maeve is approached by one of the people from Shogun World and is then captured along with the rest of their group. Sizemore says that Shogun World is for people who think that Westworld is too tame and need a more aggressive place to go. Since they didn't switch to English when Sizemore talked to them, he says that these hosts are also malfunctioning just like the ones in Westworld and are part of Ford's narrative or whatever. He says that Maeve should be able to understand them since she was a madam and should understand every language. As they enter the town, Paint It Black starts to play, just like when Hector and Armistice robbed the brothel in Season 1. Hector sees a dirt outline of a butterfly on a barrel, and Armistice says that it is a Mariposa, which is the name of the brothel in Sweetwater. Then there is a Japanese version of the brothel robbery, and Sizemore says that he reused some of the narratives in order to, because he was in such a time crunch. During the robbery, Armistice helps save a lady with a dragon tattoo, and she says that a snake can become a dragon. Dragons breathe fire, and Armistice did used to have a flamethrower. Maybe she still does, we just haven't seen it in a while. Maeve enters the brothels and says that they should have a discussion. Dolores and Teddy reach Sweetwater, and she says that they need to fix the train so that they can get back to the Mesa. They then go into the Mariposa, and Clementine sees the new Clementine and is able to remember her lines before Dolores dismisses her and tells her to rejoin the rest of the group. Back in Shogun World, the geishas are performing for Maeve and her crew, and the Shogun World Doppelbots, as Sizemore calls them. Sizemore warns them that meeting their other hosts might cause cognition issues and aggression because they don't know how to react to somebody who's acting like themselves. And then there's Armistice and her dragon lady are like really close to each other, like checking each other out as if like these people look really alike. And the two actors that they had play the parts really did look very similar. An emissary from the Shogun shows up and wants to buy one of the women, Sakura, who he says is the best dancer in the region. Chane, the madam, tells him no and kills him when he won't back down, which Sizemore says is not supposed to happen and it's not part of the plot script. They then decide to run away to Snow Lake, where Sakura came from, and Sizemore says has tunnel access so they can escape and get back to going to find Maeve's daughter. That night, the brothel is attacked by ninjas. Maeve is being choked by one of them, but finds out that she can issue commands with her thoughts and is able to get him to kill himself. She hears a bunch of whispering before that, so I wonder if it has to do something with, like, Arnold telling her to do something, or possibly she's going crazy and starting this degradation that we learned about in the previous episode. This is a massive jump in abilities for Maeve. She probably has found a way to tap into the near-field communication system that has been mentioned previously, for that hosts can communicate with each other to give commands. Sakura is taken by the ninjas, and the Shogun's army comes into town, another event that is not supposed to happen, according to Sizemore. They decide to have some of them escape, while the others buy them time and then get captured. Dolores and Teddy ride to the ranch that she grew up in or lived at while she was a host. And she talks about a time when the cattle were sick with blue tongue and how to handle it, and asks him how he would try to fix it. And he says he would try to separate as many as possible, try to save them, and she says that her dad burned them all, the sick ones and the weak ones, anybody that was infected, because the fire would keep the flies away because they didn't like smoke, and they were able to save the herd because they were able to sacrifice some of the cows. It seems to be her plan for how to handle humans too, that not all hosts are going to be able to live, and that she's going to have to make choices. Sizemore says that the Shogun is awake enough to send ninjas, and that his army, so that way their survival chances have dropped to near zero, and that they should just run away. Maeve says that they care about each other now, which is above their programming, that she's programmed to just care about herself, but here she is, she loves Hector, and she wants to help Akane with this because she knows that Akane loves Sakura like a daughter. And that this is beyond their coding, and that she says they have found a new voice. He asks about her commanding that ninja to kill himself, and she says it's her new voice that she's found. They then set off to the Shogun's camp, and they come across the bodies of a bunch of Delos security forces. Sizemore stops to pee and takes a radio off one of the guards. He's probably going to try to get rescued again and then get killed or caught or something, even though he's been proving more useful with Maeve, and he definitely can tell that she is awake. Like, he sees a difference in her. So I don't know why. I mean, he's still afraid, obviously, because she's taking him to risky places. But he should know better, I guess. But maybe he won't do it, and maybe he'll turn himself in and hand the radio over to Maeve and be like, here, I found this. They then show up to the Shogun and say that they are Chinese emissaries. The Shogun says that he knows she's a witch and shows that he had burned a bunch of his men's ears off so they can't hear her, so she can't issue them commands. They notice that he is leaking cortical fluid, so he isn't awake, just broken. He says that he wants Akane to dance with Sakura tonight, and then she can have Sakura back. Angela approaches Dolores and says that she has tracked Abernathy, but was not able to get him back, but was able to capture a Delos security guy and he revealed where they were taking Abernathy, which was the Mesa, just like Dolores expected. The train is supposed to be ready by the morning, so they'll be able to set off then. Dolores and Teddy go to a bedroom and have sex. Akane goes into the tent with Sakura, and they find the Shogun carved a cherry blossom tree into her back. Akane tells Sakura the same story that Maeve would tell Clementine about coming across the shining sea and then being able to be whatever she wants to be. So they obviously reuse that core value as well. Maeve then tells Akane about her daughter and how important she is to her. She then has the whispering in her head again and tries to break Akane free by issuing the command, freedom, but she isn't ready to accept it and says no. Dolores wakes Teddy and says that there is something that she needs to show him. She said that she has been questioning her feelings for him, how much is real and how much is programmed. Then she says that she believes that it was all true and that they actually did love each other. She takes him to a room with a rotting corpse and says that he isn't going to make it, that some of them are going to have to burn in order to be able to move forward, and where they're going, it has no place for a man like him, that he's too good to be able to move forward because they're going to have to kill a lot of people. She then has the tech that she captured program him with some extreme changes, saying they all need to suffer in order to grow. Dolores seems to be going full Wyatt and may not be as free as she thinks she is. She just has X'd all her memories. And I think she's definitely behind where Maeve is, who has the ability to command hosts and all that kind of stuff that she does not have. Maeve is taken to watch the dance with the Shogun, who wants her to close so that he can watch her and make sure that she isn't trying to help them escape. When they come out to dance, the Shogun stabs Sakura, killing her. Akane does the dance that he wants, and then pulls a knife from her hair and does a mostful decapitation, I guess. Like, his head's hanging off. It's like Headless Nick in Harry Potter. That's what it looks like. They are then grabbed by his men, and they are going to be killed and beheaded. Maeve tells Akane that she is a true mother, and she says thank you. Maeve then mentally commands the men to kill each other, and they are all able to escape. Maeve tells Sizemore that she has found a new voice now, and now is the time to use it. This episode had a lot more action, and uncovered new mysteries about how awakening works. Maeve gets new powers. Dolores changes Teddy, even though she loves him. And I wonder if we're going to see a showdown between these two at some point. Well, that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.